Here we go.
Kept this strong pace in this marathon of a career and has done a lot better. But yes, now we start.
This time it's
in
real.
The train.
This time it's the pistol. So let's bring it back. Again, 3 CTs towards connector, and they push forward. They push forward real quick. Glaive getting over towards E-Box. Not going further into the ladder room just yet. Now he's going to pry into it. But NiP, as we saw, they're just going to pump the brakes once they get out of spawn.
Hold him right. Zipic knows, they know. This is a battle of patience. First he comes out, Zipic's spotted, he falls off the angle, he's gonna make it back in the site. He sees 3 people, and since they spotted him, they're gonna take a liberty of running down the ramp quickly.
Yeah, dangerous game to play. Dupree and Device the back of the site, and yet now they do fall back, but they could very well fall back into Glaive, who has slipped up ladder and then decides to jump back down. Doesn't want to be the first casualty, but here we go, the kills come in. Magisk with a 2-piece over on Ivy, then puts that pressure back onto NiP, and they will go to where this was all supposed to start, the ramp, onto the B site. Glaive again comes back up for more, and all of a sudden, it looks like Astralis have found themselves a super easy pistol. Although, Rez still with something to give. He's gotten himself 2 and no more.
That was a really good attempt. They tried to do the mid to B split through Ivy to the back lanes. It's more complicated, it's tough, there's a lot of ways you can die. They get stopped in their tracks by Magisk with this 2K. I mean, he doesn't need any help, and they're already starting to pull rotations. But Glaive re-aggressing with the 5-7 back up the ladder, that's also a brave play. He doesn't know if they're going to continue down the ramp or if they're going to go down ladder, and he doesn't have to move. So Astralis playing with a lot of confidence. Rotations are super fast, super fluid already, and we're into a quick pistol. It's going to be one of the stats that defines the match, almost certainly. Down to round 2, basically a full save. 2K on most people, Astralis going for easy map control. MP9's getting kills funneled into them. Device rattles one up, that's Rez, he goes down. And all the way from downtown.
What is this? What an insulting way for him to get this early 5v3 again. We talked about it, bare minimum from NiP. Just those 2 deagles, but one of them never even gets a chance to fire back. Now that MP9 bolstered by an M4, and the anti-eco's looking easy for Astralis. Although, with 3 HP, Device susceptible, but he will survive. So 5 alive, in fact, for Astralis, as they convert pistol in their 2nd round.
And they took the confident route. They bought a lot of SMGs. None of them lost them. NiP know that their buy is not going to be upgraded on this round, so that does change it up a little bit. We'll see what NiP do to respond. We see a couple of MP9 kills, the most amount of money made here on these frags, which is pretty important for Astralis to help bolster that CT side, because you're going to spend a lot on grenades, and you're going to use a lot of grenades really early. Expensive grenades come out to T-Con almost every single round. That's what makes the CT side so hard to keep the momentum up on. Flash comes out initially. Force will recede back into his crevasse in the corner. Op has line of sight down Ivy. Zipix also has a scout.
Follow-up nades, no damage.
They actually may have Device upgraded from his MP9 into the AWP. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Zipix gets a scout in the mix too, so a couple of scoped weapons. But, ooh, Rez, he could have peeked from Dumpster.
Whoa.
Almost goes right to the crosshair, but Device will miss his shot. Puts down the smoke to fall back and doesn't want to fall into the bullets from that rifle, so he even sends a nade back the other way and chips Lekro to 58.
That is a rare miss from Device. You don't typically see him drop a shot like that. And it was close. He was also aiming with a little bit of extra space just in case there was a jump across, so maybe he was more prepared for that than the dry peek that we saw. But sometimes when it's too meta to do the jump across, you know, doing something that you normally do in a more casual situation makes sense. Glaive with the UMP. He's not going to want to take a fight with the UMP, but, you know, getting info early without taking too much damage is totally worthwhile.
Sure enough, you can see him jiggle peeking Ivy, taking eyes to the top of green. But he had seen nothing, despite there being 2 players tucked behind that server. Glaive ready to get into the mix, and Twist doesn't clear his corner. Glaive even slips past, but Forrest brings it back 4v4. Device is off on side of the site, missing another shot. You said uncharacteristic. Well, now he's got 1 health, and his teammates falling all around him, yet it took a little time. They will clear him from the site, and in doing so, establish this 4v2. That's such a smooth move from Ninjas to get this bomb down just in the nick of time. and establish this one early.
Yeah, when we characterize Astralis, it's by their lack of mistakes and lack of drop shots. There's THEIVES to miss 2 shots. Not exactly difficult ones. One is a micro adjustment flick. The first one is kind of just a sitter. Yep. Misses them both. That's not something you see very often. That would have made it a 5v4 nice and early. That would have changed the course of the round for NiP. And even when they ran outside, died to Glaive and Sandwich, which they didn't clear, they still won the round handedly. And that was not a free one. I was going to talk about how Astralis, even though they had 5 alive on round 2, they decided to upgrade from the MP9 to the AWP because maybe they don't feel like, you know, trying to do economic damage and losing the round is worthwhile. Now we've got a taste of the pyrotechnics. Nice and early.
Felt the heat on that one.
Yeah. So I like that, though. I like that it's not technically a bonus round for them. They invest fully because they want to protect the win and minimize losses. Right. But on the flip side, Twist is now the man with the op. The SGs have started to come out. This is a great chance for Ninjas to take pole position in this match early.
How good that would be for them. You know, if they have any chance, I feel like it is here on Train. Nice, strong start to the T side possible. Good thing Zipex only had that scout last round. Lets him add a 4th rifle to the mix. So Astralis still comfortable in their buy, but Forrest last time dodged these grenades. We saw him hiding behind, I believe you called it the crevasse.
The crevasse.
Very nice. And this time they do get him out. That Molotov burns him and now sits on a 1/4 HP.
Yeah, that's big.
Twist will go back to take that front line from him, and at least he has the opper. But when we saw Forrest put up sick numbers yesterday, currently the highest rated player at the event, it wasn't with that AWP. He was playing a lot of rifles yesterday. Now he'll be bogged down by it, perhaps, not wanting to make first contact, but doesn't seem like Ninjas want to make contact at all. They've all just kind of sulked back and waited to see if Astralis overstep any boundaries.
Yeah, I think, you know, Forrest looks quite young, but I think he's like Baby Yoda in the sense that he's probably about 50 years old, you know, with the amount of experience he's had and how good he is. It's interesting. Look at all the blue guys looking down towards Ivy from outside. Forward aggressive position from Dupree. As soon as this smokes up, what his reposition will be the most interesting point of the round. He's actually inside of T-Con, so he's going to hold strong. Lekro has been playing well recently. Does he get this trade? We'll find out. No, it's the MP9 to win.
Yep, but that's the only duel that's been won so far from Astralis. Oh, hot swap to the Krieg, and more importantly, drops that bomb. A 3 versus 3 that's going to force Ninjas back into T-Con, and that's where Dupree holds the line.
Oh my God.
More damage onto Rez. Just completely roasted by Dupree. I said that Forrest was the highest rated player, but right behind him was Dupree, who just demolished Liquid yesterday. So, the shining star already for Astralis, locking down T-Con.
He's the
cutting off bomb and winning the round off of it.
He's the loose leaf on the tree in that setup. You know, he's supposed to fall off. He's got an MP9. He's by himself. He's not expecting support. He's just there to get information, maybe get a kill, not pick up a better gun, get 3, and then do more damage. Like, that's not how that's supposed to happen. Dupree gets the info that it's an outside execute, and then his teammates do the rest of the work. But in that round, they couldn't even kill him. So that's a huge problem, just on an individual level. You know, you just got to nail that trade. Ultimately, it's a game that we dress up as one that's about strategy and tactics, and all that stuff is 100% true. But beyond that, the overarching thing is the fact that it's a point-and-click adventure. You've got to nail your shots when they matter. And that wasn't, again, not a hard kill to hit.
Yeah, and because we were so focused on Dupree there, and rightfully so, seeing as he was making the round-winning play, we don't necessarily see how that Ivy duel went down. We lost 2 of those defenders for that side of the map, and that was success for Ninjas. That was their way into the bomb site. They just needed to move out the bomb itself. But it absolutely gets denied. However, still, rebuys on both sides. Opt for Twist, and no snipers on Astralis.
Yeah. Feigning a bit of Ivy presence is Forrest, but as we can see, there's a conglomerate of the offense inside the Brown Halls, pushing up close to the ramp, ready to exec. I mean, Plopsky's basically on contact patrol, ready for anybody to come and peek that Zipix. Too smart to do so. Men in upper might take the first liberty. He gets flashed, but doesn't fall off. He's still here.
Oh, man, and now they're so ready for this. Device is going to take all the attention away. Zipex runs in from ramp. Oh, and he's going to stop that plant. Nothing more for NiP. Shut down on all all fronts, and Zipex even goes one better, denying Forrest any entry. Plopsky in a 1v4 has lost the entirety of his team all around him. Blink and you miss it. Device so good at drawing that attention away. Zipex so good at slipping into the big playmaker position. And that's it. He's already put himself right next to Dupree and making these big plays early.
That flash is designed to push him off of the top of blue. He doesn't fall off, and so they just forget about him. And then he turns it into a 3K. I mean, this is classic Zipex, right? Almost all those kills come from positioning. Everybody's right in front of him. Super easy to hit, and he sets himself up perfectly. And we're worried about Device after seeing the first couple of rounds, but it seems like the rest of the team are here and ready to play. Zipex has also had a couple of shaky tournaments recently, so it's good to see him back in form as well. Back to pistols here for Ninjas. And back to the drawing board as well, as they probably spend some time to talk about the next round.
That grenade damage again. Chipping away behind the T-Con box.
That's a...
Device, what's up, buddy?
I know, yeah, this is weird.
Luckily, he's got Magis to help, so op shot's not needed. But there are some early warning signs. You know, listen, man, we've got a BO3. We're 5 rounds deep. I'm not saying Device is going to have a bad map here, but he's got to land those easy ones.
In the Astralis Liquid game from yesterday, he was in the interview talking about how he had that 007 scoreline, and then in the second half brought it all the way back. So, you know, he's not worried, that's for sure.
So, just Glaive hits the dirt here versus the 4 Deagle buy of NiP. And we should see them coming back in with some rifles.
This is a difficult part because the first part of the plan, get T-Con control, get Ivy control, those aren't working, you know? So if you can't do that, you can't go ahead and see what an execute looks like. The round that they won was when they walked out T-Con versus Astralis' lowest buy, the one with the MP9s. They did upgrade to an op, but it was right after that second round save. So where they didn't have any upgrades. Are they gonna do a contact play again? I don't think so. 2 ops here for Astralis. That might not be the best idea. Some preliminary flashbang smokes that go over top of outside, but they draw the attention to Dupree, who can now call. Olaf is clear, T-Con, there's no one there, and there has not been a person to sneak out of ladder as well. He's got a lot of information back.
Ivy left to twist, or excuse me, Rez on his own. Device again.
Again, he's dropping him.
Shot.
He's lagging. He's lagging right now.
Right, yeah. Must be that land.
100 ping, yeah.
He tries his hand on the other side of the map, though, so at least we do have a little variation. He's been consistently over on Ivy, not this time. But different position, same result. A missed chance at establishing early 5v4s. It's not as though that's been a massive hindrance. Astralis have still won 5 of these first 6 rounds. But maybe it could have been even easier. Let's see. He's about to be given another target in Plopsky, and this time he does not miss.
Okay.
All right. About a second.
Right. Okay.
Drops bomb at the top of B, and even the ramp player then shut down. So Ninjas, with just 2 members remaining, maybe come into this A split, the pinch, but so what? 25 seconds left and bombs on the other side of the map. I mean, what are you going to accomplish here other than maybe chip away economy from Astralis?
Yeah, he's kind of just window shopping.
He misses the player on site, so all 5 go down, and Astralis have a flawless round.
A flawless round, and it's, you know, comes because of Device this time around. And, you know, part of the consistency is that, like, no matter how bad his flicks are on a day, or just, like, his reactions feel a little bit off, he's going to set up so many good kills in a match that he's always going to get some. Those are easy shots. They walk right into him. Boom. Very, very clean. Expect to see more of that. 6-1 here for Astralis. Back to pistols for Ninjas. That's a really rough one. The other thing, just to dogpile onto what's already very lopsided scoreline, is that Magis has started opping outside. That's something that Astralis started doing recently, and it has worked a little bit too well.
Well, speak of the devil, he's going to get forced back by Forrest early. Aggressive CZ down Ivy. Chips away at one of the oppers. Makes him a little uncomfortable. This is one of the first rounds where we don't actually have a very close rotate. Then Device gets into position, however. So just one and done, but a Deagle that could be deadly, seeing his Device is so low on health. He's pinched between 2 CTs, he turns the wrong way. Unfortunate. However, bomb's still back towards spawn, so even with the feet of NiP down on this B site, so be it. They're not gonna get a plant, they're not even gonna get a kill. Other than that, onto Magisk. It's 4 survivors as Astralis find themselves on fire.
In this day and age, it's not often that you see a 7-1 scoreline. That's like one of the most common scorelines from a long time ago. Very CT-sided maps, less emphasis on the pistol. This is looking more and more like a stomp. Now, there's still so many rounds left in the half. There's still a lot to see from Ninja's T-sides, but the issue is Astralis are playing so well, and they're good at train, so this is not the day you want to catch them on this map, it seems. But we'll find out. I think ultimately the really rough part is that Ninjas have to go back to something they've already tried and just try to make that work. But there's no shame in that, you know. Losing those 3 duels to Dupree, that's something that shouldn't have happened. So you would think if you try it again, they might be able to win.
I sympathize for Lekro. Blown down to 31 HP before he even gets out of ladder room. So he'll fly back a pop, but there's the shot from Forrest. And Plopsky at the very same time picks up another frag. So here we go. Astralis to be tested in round number 9 off the 3v5.
Pretty amazed that Forrest was able to line up that perfect crosshair placement from that distance through the smoke, like right on the head for the crouch peek. That was wonderful.
It's almost like he's played this game for quite some time longer.
Yeah, 84 years he's been running CS.
But then silence falls across the map. NiP, when you are already down 1-7, you do not force the issue in a 5 versus 3 like this. Make sure all your pieces are in place before you make your final move.
Forrest does not want to go T-Con alone with the bomb to come outside. I don't think, does he have, comes out.
This is what I'm talking about. Now we have 3 low HP players, and with Dupree and Zipex still alive, do not for a moment think this round is over. And an easy one at the B site, but all the actions on A where Dupree's already gotten himself amidst the terrorists. Forrest caught off guard. A peek not around the corner though will cost him. It's all gonna come down to Zipex. And of course now he finds himself 100 health versus 30. 8 seconds left over. He needs to sprint for that bomb. The round already gone. Astralis have done it. How do they win this?
That's crazy. That mid-round is nuts. There's so many moving pieces, so many people making individual decisions, right? The fact that Dupree is lurking around the outside of the trains, understanding from the communication that maybe the bomb was going to run inner, then could come down ladder. That's probably because of Zipex's call that he kills someone inner. Plopsky, I think, is the one who lurked out. Since there was no movement outside, they thought, here's a chance. They could come back, and he gets called out. Now, there's just so many things that happen. Also, just how quickly Zipex responds to the thought that it might be inner, even when they're still looking like they're fully prepped to take outside.
Just goes to take a peek, and if that B player had gone down ramp, Zipex doesn't get the kill. Zipex isn't ready to trade onto E-Box. That E-Box player goes back, gets bomb planted on A site, and then he has to defuse clutch 1v2.
Yeah, and that's full autonomy. Damn. You know, that's these 2 players. I mean, it could be some communication, but they're making their own decisions. That's not a call. That's something you got to just basically trust your smart players to make, or a decision that you got to trust your players to make, and they both make the correct and interesting and proactive decision.
Working on the same wavelength as Astralis do.
5 fingers on one hand, right?
That is normal, right? Nice op shot from Magis. Device not yet seen. Dupree will make a move proactively. 19 health, so what's he really have to lose? Well, his life apparently. Forrest able to react fast enough to cut him down. And that bomb now picked up. They could just go all in on the B site. And the question will be, what does Zipex get to do about it? He doesn't have support and connector, so his attention turned between upper and lower, but nobody pushes the upper halls. They are all down from ramp. Excellent wall bang from Plopsky. That alleviates a lot of pressure. That's going to give them the plant. That's going to give them the ability to push forward here. But how far do they go? Lekro doesn't know if there's another CT, so he stays on site. And yet Astralis might still bounce back into this. 2 versus 4, something we've seen before. But it looks like they'll call their save. And NiP have done it. Because they clear out Zipex, because Plopsky gets that kill so rapidly on the site, Astralis aren't near enough to force the issue. 8-2.
Yeah, so they take the win, they leave. That's it. That's the smart move by Astralis. It's going to be annoying for Ninjas knowing these 2 guns plus the leftover economy rolling over from those previous wins. It's only going to make this next round more tense for them. They're still broke as it stands. But yeah, this is again, we look at the fact that this is Ninja's map pick. You know, they could have picked Overpass if they wanted to. And last time, they were able to beat Astralis on Overpass at Blast Copenhagen. and it was like 16-7.
Yeah, really
It was a
lopsided.
12-3 CT half, and they decided to move away into train. So you gotta wonder at this point why. And are they surprised? These are questions for later. I'd hope in the interviews. They've been some great ones so far at this tournament.
We have had that, especially that long one with Forrest.
My mouth was open. I was staring at Forrest, just listening, hanging on to every single word.
I was trying to talk to you in the green room. You got up and stood next to the TV.
Yeah, I couldn't look away.
Like, enough of this, but I mean, I looked away just now, and because of that, how does Twist go down? Peaks T-Con with the op, so just a straight up duel of the snipers. But NiP forfeit their op already. Debris takes the place of the corpse, and he's checked by Forrest. The second one in the corner, THEIVES pinned in, but he'll use that utility to get himself away, or does he? Doesn't get out of trouble yet.
A perfectly timed Molotov push by Forrest. You know, that's a battle of timing. Dupree's there, anti-flash, waiting for a flash. Once the Molotov goes up, he turns because he hears Forrest running. Forrest takes 10 damage, I believe 13 damage in that Molotov. And so he picks the perfect time to come and swing out. Dupree, it's kind of as if he turned from a flash. I don't even know if there was one thrown. But the reason that Dupree's in that spot, which seems so precarious, is because of that shadow advantage. You know, he's always going to have the advantage in the first fight. It's the second player who has to trade if the first one fails. But since he got away with it, that's why he was playing there. However, now we've got an opening kill, or maybe two. There it is, Blobsky opening up the B site. That's going to allow for another plant and potentially another round.
Yep, but they do know Magic's in connector. He's smoked off. If we're going to give any credit to anybody from NiP thus far, it's got to be Blobsky. I mean, we talked about how the form of NiP throughout 2019 wasn't the very best, but you have said that, you know, replacing GetRight may have been something really good for them.
No, I mean, if you look at the
team.
stats, they've got, like, you know, GetRight was the lowest performing player for like this year, right? So they make the change, and when we look at their stats recently, there was a match they played with PETA. There was a match where GetRight didn't know if he was going to stay on the team where he had to play, you know, so that's making their results lag, and it's kind of a fault of everybody involved. But once they make the change, they play at ECS. They get 2-1 by EG, but they could have finished that match 2-0. It was very close. You're splitting hairs almost. They crushed Avangard 2-0. They got stomped by Liquid on the first day, but that was only a best of one. They haven't shown a lot, but they have shown that they are getting a lot better in a short amount of time.
And I think a lot of that is due to Plopsky. I love this addition. I think he's a great player. I think that he's stepping up considering his limited experience too. So, at least in these two rounds as well, it's a good time to credit him. He gets that first kill onto ZipX behind the spools by just wallbanging the spot in the round previous, and this time he's standing on ramp when THEIVES peeks out from connector. THEIVES has a chance at a shot, but gets cut down by that AK before he can get the gun on cycle. So a follow-up kill thereafter. That 2K for Plopsky last round is why NiP are now 3-8. But as we saw in the last round, an early op kill out of Astralis to give them the 5v4. Did NiP want more? Seems so. And Magic's gonna give it right back. But Twist, he's come out from T-Con. He skewers Ivy, and the CTs on site have yet to been able to trade him. He's even found himself back into cover.
Nice.
This gives Forrest a chance to slip out.
Oh.
I love this. NiP coming at him quick, trying to cut him down before they can even respond. And Glaive also added to the tally. As Forrest rallies the troops into the A site, THEIVES looks to get into this, and a second missed shot is not what he needs right now. 2 versus 2, HP advantage here for the side of Astralis, but they don't know where ZipX has gotten off to. And unfortunately for NiP, they're caught in this really awkward no man's land. More damage skim between the trains, but yet they brought it back. 100 health. Versus 23.
Opportunity lost, but this is not easy for Plopsky. He knows he can't run inner that fast. And oh my God, his Twist to cover his back as he makes the fall back himself. Down the ladder, back to outside. THEIVES reads it and still gets killed. Really nice coverage there for NiP. Well done. And this isn't a feature, but it is a factor. The fact that at ECS in those matches, part of the reason they lost was because they had very slow starts. But then once they started to figure out the T side, their adaptations were very good. So that's something that didn't sort out. That's something that's happening in this match. You can't necessarily have slow starts versus Astralis, but it does look like they're back on their feet.
Think about the pressure that NiP just had on them to get into this half. They were sitting at 2-8, and they used 2 back-to-back 4 versus 5 to get the 4-8 score line and push Astralis onto this buy of pistols. They have played off the back foot to get themselves back into this T half.
Crazy round there by Forrest too. The 2K with the SGs, smartly played, well done. Wow, Glaive's actually stolen position inside of T-Con once again. He's got the 5-7. This is deadly, though. Somebody walks in there, that can do 100 damage in one shot.
And it's not the first time they're in T-Con either.
No, I mean, it's Dupree that's been there 2-3 rounds in a row. It's been one where he had an MP9 where he was able to win the round. So it's a strong position, it's one they like. And it just alleviates so much on the rotations for outside, because if you know that somebody's in T-Con, then suddenly your rotation inner can come out a little bit earlier. If they don't have someone in T-Con, then you got to play 3 outside. So here, they can overstack inside, keep 1 in T-Con, and have a lot of information, even though it's just an eco.
Ooh, a chance there as Device comes around the corner, but Plopsky responds on the second peek. 5v4 established. Pistol player's not too much of a threat with Magic back turned. He's supposed to die. You see Rez's face, utter shock, as he gets rocked by that deagle. And this could very well force the hand of NiP into the B site. If they go right now, there's only 2 CTs in position. Make it 1. USP for Zipex. Glaive's caught on the ladder, and there we have it. NiP getting into their site, gonna put that bomb down, and get themselves a 5th round.
This is competitive.
Yes, it is.
No, I like that they take their time, but they don't take too much time. That's a great T round, right? So it is just an anti-eco, but they play it carefully. It gets a little bit sticky, but they stay together, stay cohesive all the way through. Wow, oh my God, the 180 deagle.
There it is.
Yeah, yeah, just gotta wag that one off. Yeah, that's gonna happen sometimes. Now the options are back open for NiP's playbook. They have confidence outside. They've taken inside successfully by the hand of Plopsky's entries a couple of times.
Yeah.
So now they can try some of the stuff they've already done, but now they can look back on previous successes and also maybe the hurt confidence of Astralis and see that they can recover this half in a big way. There's still only 2 rounds potential to win back in this half, and still a potential, obviously, for a 10-5 in favor of Astralis. We're looking at some of the stats here. Magisk, 125 ADR so far in a very, very tight half.
15-6, and we've already seen Dupree put up big numbers, so Magisk was right there behind him yesterday. This morning he'll take the lead. But enough of that. Off of the pause, we are right back into the gun rounds. An AWP for Twist, burn back up Pop Dog. And a frag grenade to chip away at Forest yet again. There's been such successful utility here in T-Con.
Yeah.
And that's just Astralis. Early damage with grenades.
Let's see if they go and take it again. Now, that'll be interesting. They've got the Molotov. It's not deep. The second one does go farther. Dupree looks like he's ready to get in there. And this might be a demo read, you know? The fact that it's been left open so many times, he's never had to take a fight on his way in. He's always gotten one after, which is the advantageous situation for the CTs. And now they know that it could be inner. This gives Magisk so much more confidence.
He's so ready for this gap, though. He's put down a smoke on ramp. Lecro's going to decide to push right through it. Good damage done to both of the players who come downwards, but all the frags belong to NiP. 5 versus 2 as they entry through this B site.
It's a pure execute, you know? Like, there's some defaulting there, but that's pretty much, Astralis have an idea that it's B. They're not totally sure. It's pretty much even strength in the terms of they've got an extra rotation in there. They've got Magisk, they've got Zipex in the back. And it's the great flashes that help them into the site. Magisk getting full blind. He almost comes away with the kill. I mean, he could have. It was him aiming straight ahead at Lecro. Lecro just barely edging it out. But Lecro has the advantage because Magisk is blind, and you've got to credit the Flash for that reason. Trying to bait the shot. Device does not bite. Will he save?
They're coming for him.
Oh boy.
They're boosting over the server.
I see the blind shot happening. Is he going to go for it? Forrest running through.
Oh, he
the
gets
smoke.
it.
He lives another day.
Whew. Sweating slightly. And Dupree also survived for the record, picking up a kill towards the end.
Now we move into the final round. The round that could make the half numerically insignificant for Astralis, you know? This is crazy. It was 7-1 at one point. Now we're at 6-8.
Remember, I mean, NiP on fire, so the last 5 rounds are theirs. Hell of a way to close this T side. Looked like they were going to get stomped. But they have bounced back. And this half not yet over. Final and 15th round coming at you now. Early contact meant at Ivy. Magisk could push up if needed.
Can't really throw a flash for him right now with the way Device is sitting, so they're just going to sit and hold. This could be 2 kills easy.
Yep.
Or...
Doesn't see. Oh! a follow-up from Rez. This is NiP ending the half with a message. Coming back from the depths.
And this is the time where Force is finally in T-Con before Dupree sneaks his way in.
Yeah, like you said, he always finds it cleared.
Yeah, he's a bit worried.
Oh, but
they know.
Walks in, Plop Dog, Plopski Dog, what's up? Forrest slips out. That's going to be a good way for NiP to pressure this A site. Glaive taken down off of Ivy, and this leaves ZipX 1 versus 4. And he is no more. Ninjas in pajamas. 6 rounds in a row to close the first half of their map pick after being on their back in the first half of it all. Hot damn. What a way for them to bounce back, but will they continue with success in the second half? That's the question we have to ask. And there's only one way to find out, folks. That's to stick around, because the second half comes up after the break. Astralis had themselves a monumental lead at the beginning of Train, 8-1, and it was looking like a quick day in the office for the Danes. But was that ever turned back by the Swedes of NiP? They finished this as close as could be, 6 rounds in a row to close, 7-8 the half.
The other part, the final boss really is the fact that Astralis don't slow down in the second half. You know, you might look at other teams that are a little bit more skewed, but I believe when we saw in the blast stats yesterday that Astralis are winning like 53% of the rounds on ZT side and then 47 on T side. That was a good half, a good start. Overall, numerically, it doesn't really matter that much. Their T half on Train is pretty much what made them the team they are today. So we're going to be able to see that right now. I mean, they're certainly not going to hold back. A very important map for them to win, and they're off to a good start.
Second pistol coming at you. Smoke thrown over by Glaive. He's got 2 flashbangs, and Magisk has another, but it's Dupree with the opening pick. He drops into Pop Dog and blows Rez away. However, they do not shy into the A site. Instead, they stampede down ramp into B. ZipX with another frag pushes this to the 5v3, and the plant is theirs on top of it. Plopski denied as Dupree takes the high road, and ZipX from downtown makes this look easy. 5 potential survivors for Astralis on the pistol launchers. You just praised their T side, and well, they proved it.
Yeah, it's a good start. It's a good start. It is a pistol. It's going to come down to shots. Oh my God! Whoa, what a win! Jesus. absolutely ruthless. I mean, they almost came away with $1,500, but there would have been some egg on their face if they failed that. We've seen that go south too many times at this point.
Real quick.
I mean, it's maybe only been like 5 times in history, but at the same time, they've each mattered quite a lot.
Burst fired.
Yeah, bringing that back.
They burst fire, Glock drop, pop dog, and then go for the knife, not at a 13-2, at a 7-8.
Couple of good kills. 600 extra bucks for the attempt at the knife. And I mean, it could be tactical in the sense that they pretty much have that kill nailed. If they get the knife, they get $1,500. But it could also been for the memes. I'm not ruling it out.
For the Maymays.
Ninjas have a buy. 2 scouts, 3 deagles, 4 smokes, 3 smokes. It's a pretty hefty amount of utility. There's a lot of ways to win on this round. The the one nade could be incredibly important to assist with the scout shots, the pistols to assist with the scout shots, and Forrest is not far off the mark right now, but I think they're behind box, behind the wall. One of them is.
Device is safe.
Yeah.
Dupree.
Oh, that's in the head. And that can be heard around the world.
Dancing.
Oh, another tag. Another tag.
On the player who was behind box. So now both of the TCOM players less than 50 HP.
Listen.
Hello, Forrest.
We're in business. Oh my God.
He just turned. He just turned, and Rez on the ladder deagles him in the spine. I'm losing my mind with how NiP have done all of this early damage. It's dirty.
That's confidence. This was 2 pistols for Astralis, but here we might see an eco in the second half. That would nullify it. Now, where has Rez fallen back to? He's still in the ladder.
25 seconds.
Well, what kind of damage can he do? 1 shot, 2.
Tries to go for the AK to the ace, but no. This is what happens when you go for the knife. NiP bouncing back with style on the force buy. A couple of scouts that did early damage thanks to Forrest, but Rez's nasty deagle play. They can't get past that hand cannon.
It was extra damage. He just get whatever you can. It didn't matter if you only got 1 kill. They're still probably going to win. As you pointed out, with the amount of time left over, getting down ladder that late, not having ladder crew control in the first place, you know, you think they're cooked, but then he cleans up and saves his teammates from having to die or even fight. Crazy. Crazy.
Look at that pile of bodies stacked high and forces Astralis immediately into a pause.
Yeah, it's, you know, a pause that could come, it could be like a mental pause. It might not be a tactical pause. It might be because they were planning a full buy the next round, and here they have to rearrange their bucks and see what they can get. But it could just be, all right, let's relax after that one. Not a cool round, unfortunate. Rez gets a fork with the deagle. Probably won't happen again. Shrug it off. But it looks like they're going to try to bounce back right now. They've got the AK in play, but they couldn't afford a second one. Is there one dropped on the ground? That we don't know. It doesn't look like it. Yeah, so very skimmed by. Slim pickings here for Astralis, moving into round 18.
Collection of smokes thrown over early. Zipex brings that AK down, Pop Dog, and there's nobody inside it to contest him. He's wary of a B flank. Plopsky's getting closer towards ramp, but he's fine for at least another 15 seconds. Twist spots the cross. Zipex run out first. Yes, he does. And Rez goes down.
Wow, that's crazy.
Now Device is gonna get himself inch by inch closer towards Ivy. Forrest loses his head, and Twist's gonna take damage, but his deagle sings. Oh, as does Dupree. An orchestra of death here on the A site, but Glaive amidst it all gets past that scout and can't drop Plopsky, so a 1 versus 2 for the final Ninja. All the while, Zipex, he had used his early kill and that timing to get to the B site. He's on top of it. The king reigns from the top of his throne. And what do you know? Astralis bounce back with a buy of their own.
Yeah, they steal it back with the 1 AK alone. That's insane. Some of those trades, I actually wonder how that's even possible looking back at it. But weaponizing Zipex in the beginning was so good. They used that flash. $200 comes over T-Con, is great for that E-box fight. Coming out of that smoke allows him a way to get back in. He just has to make sure he's aiming in the right spot as he comes out of it. And then it's like not that hard of a kill. So a nice small setup for cheap. Those are the plays you look for to copy and paste into your next puck.
And no second CT player and say connector to swing out on him. You know, he very much found that E-Box player isolated, and I think he knew that there was going to be another threat, just like this one of Flopsky, but Twist helps him out first. Now the Deagle safely close to the corner.
Oh, it's so
Down, damage done, but not a follow-up frag. Glaive able to maintain. What is a 3v3?
The pick's low.
These force wars in full effect, back and forth for potentially 4.
Is that smoke missed? Yeah, they're gonna know that it hasn't crossed back. But they're not making a rotation either. It's just gonna be allowing Astralis here to move. I think there might have been a molly inside of Z, so they couldn't move that quickly. That could have been really smart from Astralis. I'm not sure if that was the case from what I could see on the mini-map. But yeah, now it's a bit too late. Down in man advantage, a bit of damage dealt to Forest. But 3 up for Astralis. Put positions are great on the A side.
It's gonna get real hard. Wow, too hard, in fact, to get back into this.
They recover off that. I think the smoke missed inside the B site, and it should have just smoked off the cross, which makes that play even better. That's pretty amazing. Smoking or mollying Z so they can rotate back. Smoking the cross so it looks like they're crossing onto B to delay for more time. So even if Ninjas knew, which they did because the smoke missed, they're still not going to rotate to outer because there's a Molotov in Z.
Of course.
So they cover their options there for, again, a very low amount of utility. Smartly played by Astralis.
Give themselves so much time as well to do it. Like, they get that plant down, and even if the CTs had tried to scramble back towards Old Bomb, there's no way they contest that plant.
Yeah.
So, Astralis, great mid-round.
Yeah, how many times are you going to say that?
Break the trend of the back and forth forces.
Yeah, this is the hard part, you know, like there's some, like when we looked at that Liquid match, Pimp brought up that there was on Nuke 18 opening duels to the 10 of Astralis and Liquid still lost. A stat like that, and from rounds like this, we can kind of see how that happens. It's very legitimate, you know, the way that they pull back these rounds. Don't worry, it only did like 0 damage. Oh, just Dupree, I think, 19. Through a couple of walls.
And 23 to Glaive. But it's making them nervous.
Yeah.
Forrest just spamming with the SSG.
Stormtroopers.
Yeah, the laser beam of the Counter-Strike world. Device now has an open gap to try and skewer CTs from the A site. Difficult round for the pistol players, and neither rifle here on A. So the question is, can they get off with a save? They know they're pinned into the ticket side. This is dismantled by Astralis. 5 survivors as they start to get back into control of this T-half.
Very few mistakes can be made at this point. We're in the critical territory. Astralis up to 12, looking for 13. Ninjas on the back foot. They do come away with that second round in the second half, but then immediately lose thereafter. A terrible sign. No, they had a much better buy and still lost. Deficit of 4 rounds could prove to be too much. We'll find out, you know, a lot more about that on this round, though. The second kind of official rifle round for them. They'll go up against Astralis. They have slightly low grenades. They'd like to have some Molotovs if possible, but it's a fast round from Astralis, which can negate that. And Dupree will open it up with a quick AK headshot.
Immediately out on that site. Now Forrest may slip into this. Glaive double back to check it. But Dupree is still inside of the smoke. Spotted are his feet. Ooh. A size 13 comes back to bite him.
Bardolph shoe.
But Forrest just found bomb. Forrest just found bomb, and Zipex unexpectedly rounds the corner. A 3 versus 2. They had that early entry on the A site. They ran out T-Com, but they didn't do it with bomb. And Forrest, as opposed to getting his kill and falling back to Sandwich, trying to hold Ivy, just throws himself behind enemy lines, and he is rewarded for it. But he forgoes bomb control and instead plays up into the bathrooms, where Twist also is.
And it's like any good M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong movie, we've got another twist. That last kill on Ivy opens things up again for the T's. Forfeiting bomb control means another reposition. Forrest is even going to go farther from that. But as he moves, he bleeds time off the clock. Device, worried, has to clear so many angles. He's working alone as well. He's trusting Magis to either get some information or make a play. But it must be ladder, right? Crossing the inner. Magis is going to hunt down another. Forrest goes down after finding the bomb in T-Con about 40 seconds ago.
You'd think that seeing as how he killed Zipex running out with his knife, that he wouldn't then fall prey to the same play. But that is exactly what happens, and now Twist finds timing too. He gets through Device, who, if he doesn't clear the other side, is going to allow Twist into this site.
Round is over. You know, if he's not going to clear the ramp at this point after coming out of upper.
Yeah. Devil's back down ramp.
He's not made noise, so he might be able to save. I don't know. Scope could be heard. He doesn't hit the shot either. Device is going to get himself an op.
Wow, Astralis. That's another one of those rounds where it's like you get into a 2v2 versus the best team in the world, and you just kind of outplay yourself.
No, I mean, yeah, and it's just a great lurk from Magis, and it's so unconventional. Like, even when I was looking at that, I was thinking, Magis is not prepared to go inside unless they get a kill very soon. But he seemed confident knowing like there was backstab potential there, but it could have come down to Device having to entry first, which would have been the worst of the two situations. I guess luckily for Magis, because there's only so much he could have like reasonably expected about that rotation, he gets forced to peek him right away. But at the end of the day, it's just Astralis winning a round, a very critical round that puts Ninjas in a save situation when they're already nearing match point.
You think with how much weight in that 2 versus 2, again, I don't want to harp on him too hard, but Forrest just gives away what was everything at that point. He'd sprinted across the entire map and never thought to walk, but oh boy, somehow, some way with pistols, they've done it again. They've grabbed the bomb and an AK upgrade as well. A saving grace for NiP, but this round is not nearly over.
You know, and that last round was the 3v2 that turned into the 2v2. It was Magis was the X factor. He's still alive. Looking for spam. Too much time on the clock to get comfortable if you're Ninjas. They just, there's so many options here.
This, if you were them, you are replaying the last round in your mind. A 2 versus 2 that was thrown away.
Yeah, it was, you know, it's a hard situation. Like, how do you even know if you're forced that someone's going to be in spawn, right? And that's the value of having so much time on the clock, is you can be anywhere. Astralis are going to push that advantage as far as they can. Magis just playing around, you know, making sure there's some attention drawn here at all times. dupreeh is going to be expected, but this is kind of the best play that they can make.
They need to get dupreeh to take the fire off the splatter.
Is it far enough? Yeah, it's a really good smoke.
Oh, now dupreeh is going to be kind of cut out of this, and Plopsky gets in between the smokes, but a smokes hits Boss.
Oh my God, they're going to make it.
He's got it. You'd think. You would
think. He can plant. He can plant.
He has time for this. Magis, get that down.
He knows it's behind him.
And he's going to hear the footsteps because Rez is going to rush the issue. Now Magis, gun ready, headshot needed. And he doesn't know. Is Rez going to peek the short side of Train? Is he going to bait out the timing? Because now Magis should turn attention, except
he saw it.
The timing is ridiculous, and Rez still successful.
Saves the day.
Thank goodness, because after the last round's loss in the 2v2, you wouldn't have wanted to throw away another. That would have been a gut-wrenching loss.
Look how much time Astralis took to set that one play up. That only gives them a small advantage. dupreeh on that big flank up the B ramp. Having that smoke in those last few seconds, luckily collecting the bomb. Being chased was probably the correct play, you know? Otherwise, you got a very difficult 2v2 after plan with a lot of angles to clear. But Magis almost wins it. It's insane. It's insane that he almost wins that after that last round as well. 9-13.
That is a saving grace for Ninja's CT side, because now they are back in with the guns. And these rounds haven't been easy. But slipping one away from Astralis on a pistol buy is huge. And talk about utility from Astralis. They just get wrecked in T-Con till Magis, with the slim bit of health he still had, manages to sweep away two of these defenders and push us right back into the even keel of a 3v3. Lekro's smoke is fading. And Zipex just moments ago could have caught him, but he's got to go check for the B push.
Low numbers once again. I mean, this is the really tasty CS and a tasty shot for Twist. Man advantage, strengthened one more. Zipex now in a clutch situation.
Sees the head above, takes one down, but he gets dinked. And should get donked. Plopski. Ooh, not even needed. Grenade hits the mark, finishes him off, and puts NiP 1 round closer.
Yeah, and in double digits, you know? That's a really special territory where it really starts to feel like anything goes. It's been a hell of a comeback situation here for NiP, but the same was true in the first half, except they've done a little bit better even here on the CT side. So they've also earned themselves a save, as we can see. Light grenades here for Astralis. They've got 2 full sets, 3 people without, pretty good pistols to support, and we know that they have options.
Again, though, they have been afforded some early presence out of T-Con. Lecro, near empty magazine, 8 bullets left in that M4 Enclave. Element of surprise, not enough to drop a body here versus the Ninjas. They stand 5 tall.
It's another cool one, actually. They've got 3 running, 2 full nade sets, and they run what basically looks like a full exec fast play with Ivy control, which is one of the more difficult and stressful areas in the map to take. Good shot from Dupree from his home base here in T-Con. Oh, and another to double up.
Listen, man.
Hey, yesterday.
An incredible deagle play yesterday. How about another? He didn't get the round with it last time. Ooh, he's got a chance. But so does THEIVES at this B site. There's nobody here to stop Plant. And I mean, if that's what they're going to walk away with, so be it.
Yeah.
A little win.
Yeah, it's big money. Good damage so far. 1 more kill would sweeten the deal. Can he do it? That's eagle damage, and there's 2 up.
They're both outside of connector as well. He's got 4 shots left in the mag. Lecro posted. THEIVES running out of chances, running out of room. The Molotov forces him.
Whoa. This spot.
He could still sweep this. That bomb is halfway ticked. And Twist could be easily caught off guard, but he misses. Too many chances gone. As the defuse comes through and the lead cut to 2, 11-13, still favoring Astralis.
Hey, it's a good sign that it's tense no matter what, and yet Ninjas continue to succeed. I like that. You know, it's more credit to the victory if they pull it off. It makes it even more impressive. Again, Ninjas map pick, but they know, we know, the fans at home know, they're not favored on any map they play versus Astralis. You know, it might come close, but you'd expect Astralis, you know, take this, whether it's a series or any individual map. Rough stuff. Close there in the clutch situation. Once again, it's a 1v3, but you never write them out. Pretty much anybody on this roster that we can see here in front of us. Now it's going to be another pause called as things are talked about. We haven't seen a lot of what Ninjas want to do on Train CT side. We haven't seen many of their aggressive options being taken out. They haven't had many anti-ecos to worry about so far. And they're finally kind of in the driver's seat, it feels like. They can set the standard here in round 25. 1 op for Twist, and an op for THEIVES. 2 SGs, 2 AKs. Astralis buying for broke. They've got not much money left over, but the same can be said for Ninjas. Even strength and firepower, and we're off to the races. A sandwich smoke comes out. It's 3 charged towards the inner sight. 1 peels off into ladder. And THEIVES takes position, holding on to the lower ramp. Plopski's already made his way up ladder off of the Molotov.
There was 2 of them in there for NiP. And as one sits back behind the molly, Plopski,
I think he might
just flies through it.
Did he wait on the ladder to see if that nade would come out? I feel like there's some demo reads going on.
Yeah, that was so fast. We'll have to get the replay, hopefully. I want to see just how ballsy of a play that really was. Now Astralis look to claw back from a 4v5. 3 smokes, 3 flashbangs left for NiP. Magisk now has clear line of sight through A. Ooh, and he picks back up the headshot. That's gonna deny Lecro any further info. Not gonna be able to stop what is 3 members of Astralis running through the smoke. The spam damage does nothing. And the defenders for the A site, 1's inside connector. He's now taken out of the round. 2 inside of Pop Dog, mollied away. They can't get back into the mix. Magisk turned back around. Lecro, luckily, is able to manage, but still the damage done with the plant on top of it. 3 versus 2. And that's gonna force the save. Yeah. I love Astralis' play. Because Plopski runs up ladder, you said maybe there's some demo reads going on. Well, they transitioned themselves, Astralis, from that upper box halls all the way back around Ivy. They got away from the 2 players inside Pop Dog and took that A site from the opposite side.
Yeah.
Nothing could be done once Pop was mollied and smoked off. Astralis 14-11.
Yes. And this save is critical. That was a tough situation there for Plopsky. He comes away with it. They'll move into the next round. Yes. We've got the fire effects once again. This game is definitely not lost just yet. A really, really great round there from Magisk. Such a critical player, man. He's amazing. You know, he's the newest addition to the roster.
Just runs through Molly.
Yeah, he just takes that as a cue, I guess, and it's Glaive, who I don't even think throws the Molotov that gets all the smoke.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What is he doing?
All right, let's go. NiP back in with a buy. They muster together what they can afford. A FAMAS, a Scout, and an MP9. Which of these players has to shine? Because so far it's been neck and neck. Ninjas. The kill differential near non-existent. Dangerous peek from Plopsky. And he's going to lose half of his health on that. There's so many bodies piled up outside of this B site. Bombs already being planted. A desperate rotation.
Yeah,
that could very well be called off.
They might. Electro. Oh, he gets a kill. It's 4-4. Lots of time left on the clock. Yeah, I thought there for a second.
Maybe.
Call the save, maybe, but
And maybe they should have.
We're back in that territory again.
Just when they had a hope.
And it's at the cost of 2 lives. You know, they had a chance there. Man, it was tough. Twist. He's like right behind the site. Goes back, peeks again, sees an entire boy band waiting for him at the bottom of the ramp. And then it puts him off. He starts re-peeking. You know, he's like, I need to get a kill. He gets really worried.
Whoa!
That's decent, yeah.
Following up on Twist's damage, Forest topples 2. But so be it. I think Astralis, they'll trade those casualties for a 15th round any day.
Yeah, they're happy. That's it. Match point here for Astralis as we move into what could be the last round of the first half.
Of the first map.
Of the first map of the second day.
Of the winners, BO3. Upper bracket final, meaning whoever wins this one, of course, books that first spot in the finals. Not just any finals, Launders, but the global finals.
$350K for first place.
That is money. But they are playing with even less than they had in the last round. A single M4 for Rez. Upgraded pistols and tidbits of utility in the mix. And remember, Ninja's map choice. We move to Nuke after this. Forest has no idea that Glaive's this close. Goes to check the corner, and it costs him his life. Nobody here able to respond either. Twist's down range at Pop Dog. 2 defenders towards the B site, and it seems like Astralis may just sink their teeth into A. Rez fades back towards site. Again, that only M4. Everybody's ready. Plopsky's hot on the flank. Rez does get one, but down he goes. Plopsky removed, and Astralis through and through. A 16-11 victory here on Train. They were tested.
They were tested.
NiP started to swing that back on their T side. 5 of the opening 6 rounds, all for Astralis. NiP composed themselves both at the end of the first half and also halfway through their CT side, but it's not enough, Mohan. They will give up